Banks acting as moral police. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian Heise and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Got my stein of coffee here and I thought we would have a look at this article because frankly it's very concerning. The National Australia Bank will no longer lend to businesses breaching animal welfare standards. Now what concerns me here is that a business which should be focused on making a profit is virtue signaling. And we're seeing corporate virtue signaling more and more these days. It is becoming the mainstay of activism. I mean, if what we'll do is we'll jump to another example. Now this is from several months ago. Well, actually, not that many. Last month. No buck for your bang. Bank of Queensland refuses loans to gun shops. So not just gun shops, employees of gun shops. So this is an article from Sky News. Prospective homeowners who work in gun shops and sell to farmers and sporting shooters have been refused loans by the Bank of Queensland because it claims it could be associated with criminal enterprise. The advertiser's Caleb Bond said, "If you're working in a gun shop, sure, every now and again you're going to get a criminal come through the place, but as we all know, guns used for crime in this country are illegal guns. If you are selling guns to those who are using them legitimately, you're doing a legal trade. The Bank of Queensland is doing nothing to shower itself in glory right now," he said. So some of these people had existing relationships with Bank of Queensland, had paid off mortgages with Bank of Queensland. But the virtue signaling bank was no longer interested in doing business with them. There's two other instances I want to talk about. One is a video I spoke about just earlier this month. A tattoo parlor where the tattooist was denied, all her accounts were frozen because the bank, once again, the Bank of Queensland, was refusing to do business with tattoo parlors, even though they're legal and legitimate businesses, because they might potentially be aligned with criminals. And also, recently, I'll bring your attention again to the major banks adopting UN principles. And have a look at that video to find out if your bank is on the list. You know, these are the 6 principles they want to adopt. Why the hell are banks focusing on UN principles? Why are banks morally policing us? We've seen the same thing with PayPal and all the porn people from Pornhub. I mean, okay, guys, regardless of your opinion on it, why are these transaction companies acting as moral police? Because of pressure from activists. Pressure from activists. And it starts with these type of things. It starts with, oh, the gun businesses, who cares? Oh, the tattoo artists, who cares? Oh, yeah, they can adopt those UN things. They all sound nice and touchy-feely. And now we have the National Australia Bank will no longer lend to businesses breaching animal welfare standards. Now, it's not necessarily the fact that, welfare, animal welfare, that's fine. But I'm concerned where this will go next. Because we're seeing it. We're seeing it go further. We're having organizations now virtue signaling. We're having activists using pressure to cajole businesses to act as activists. Soon it'll be, oh, sorry, Florian, you're not a member of the party. You can't work. You're not a member of the party. You can't transact. That's the eventual outcome of this stuff. Businesses shouldn't be involved in this. It's a dangerous sign. Because we've lived, or humanity has existed where you've got authoritarian organizations pushing their will on others, and we kind of got free of that. Now it's going the other way, isn't it? Going right back again. So let's have a look. One of Australia's biggest agricultural lenders, National Australia Bank, will no longer finance businesses non-compliant with animal welfare rules. NAB is the first of the big 4 banks to crack down on poor treatment of animals by implementing animal welfare principles that will guide future lending decisions. The principles apply to any business involving animals and were introduced as part of the 2019 NAB Sustainability Report, which sets out the major banks' performance and approach to animal welfare and environmental issues. In a statement, a NAB spokesman said it understood the agricultural industry was a fundamental part of Australia's economy and maintaining its integrity was critical to its long-term sustainability. But here's the issue. Here's the issue. They're adding additional burden to these people. Why is this the job of the bank? Can someone explain to me why it's the job of the bank, other than for them to virtue signal and for them to market? And I mean, I'll show you here. This is from ABC, but let's have a look. Look at the article. Here's NAB will no longer lend to businesses breaching animal welfare standards and above. Thousands of credit card insurance customers to get compensation payouts from NAB. Maybe they need to work on their own house before they start virtue signaling and acting morally superior to others, or think they're even in a capacity to make these judgment calls. And look here, we've got Westpac, accused of facilitating money laundering. And yesterday, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, they were done with dodgy insurance selling, life insurance over the phone. ANZ's the only one that's missed out so far? So, and yet the cash ban is something that needs to be pushed through. The new animal welfare principles reflect balanced input from a number of industry associations, animal welfare organisations and other stakeholders, the spokesperson said. I don't want some of these. Look at these people. I don't want some of these people having a say on how commercial businesses lend. It's got nothing to do with them. If they choose to boycott that industry or to not eat the products, that's fine. I want to eat the meat. I mean, come on. The new animal welfare principles reflect balance. I've read that. NAB will review the principles periodically against the latest development in relevant legislation, standards, regulation, and animal welfare science. So other financiers may follow. But, I mean, surely a business that takes care of their cattle will be doing financially better, so they will be rewarded anyway in the long run. You don't need the banks. You don't need the banks acting as the moral police here. You can see where this is going. Tattoo parlors. Gun shop owners. You've even got some people who've been denied services based on their political orientation. You've got sex workers on the internet. PayPal's kicked them off. I mean, Subscribestar, I'm having to leave that because PayPal's abandoned them and the costs involved in transferring the money out are so high because of the international fees. So it just shows you. So, the banks expected customers to meet the needs of animals in the domains of nutrition, health, behavior, and mental science, and will cease dealing with businesses if there is evidence of a significant breach of welfare rules. How can you appeal? What is the appeal process? Is there an appeal process? Is this the bank's business? What happens if we have a cash ban in place and these people in the country are banned from the banks because someone made a report? Maybe it's under investigation. Do you think the bank will just jump on it and virtue signal? What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think their response would be. The RSPCA welcomed the move, and its scientific officer for farm animals, Melina Tenson, said it reflected increased community expectations around the treatment of animals. We certainly had some input into earlier drafts of the policy, and we're encouraged to see NAB and other banks are coming to us for advice on what appropriate animal welfare lending policies might be, she said. We're hoping this announcement by NAB will encourage other major banks to see animal welfare as a core part of their business and lending practices. Paul McKenzie is a WA-based agribusiness consultant with agrarian management and has 16 years' experience in rural finance. He said NAB's animal welfare principles provided good, sensible lending guidelines for customers and staff. Are they going to have a contrarian opinion to this? Financial institutions are risk-averse, particularly in a post-Hayne Royal Commission world. Having said that, I don't view this as a publicity stunt or anything. They might be branded as such by cynics. So I guess I'm a cynic. I wouldn't call it, no, it's not a publicity stunt, it's a virtue signal. And it's caving into activists. Go out of our way to buy pasture-fed, slow-grown, hormone-free beef that's halal-free as well when it's slaughtered. We pay extra for it. That's how we deal with it. I don't need the bank to virtue signal and dictate to businesses. I'm a grown-up. I can make that choice myself. Other people may choose different. It's part of being in a free society, guys. And it's slipping away one bit at a time. And I know this all sounds good. Okay, this all sounds good. Everyone loves animals. I like eating them every day. I had 3 eye fillets drenched in butter before I made this video. So I'm pretty happy. But where will this lead? Is this appropriate? Is this appropriate? The banking sector could be called a complete oligopoly because when one bank does something, the rest of them follow shortly afterwards. Yes, that is bad. That is not good. Okay, that's not good. That means we have no real competition in our banking sector. We have no real competition. Mr. McKenzie did not think farmers had anything to be worried about. Then don't implement the rules. Because then someone in your organization that is a militant vegan could have a bone to pick and does something dodgy. I mean, we can trust the banks, can't we? What did we see today? What did we see yesterday? So here we go, mixed industry reaction. West Australian Farmers Federation Vice President and livestock producer Steve McGrew said any bank lecturing farmers on ethics was laughable. Yes! Good, well, I'm raising a stein to that one. NAB has the right to do it, just as any farmer has the right not to deal with NAB, he said. But the problem is, mate, all the others are just going to fall step in line. This is no different to the Labor government here in Queensland making it insanely difficult for people to clear their bush, to create fire breaks around their property. And just as NAB would lend money to someone with a criminal record, we always allow someone who has done the wrong thing in the past the chance to show they've reformed. No, well, I guess NAB will. Bank of Queensland won't. If they don't like your business, they'll refuse service. Holly Ludman is a veterinarian in the live export industry and is part of the Sheep Collective, which is an organisation that advocates for the live export industry. She supported the bank's new lending policy and said the industry was providing information and education for anyone doing due diligence on the live export industry. We're offering vessel tours and feedlot tours specifically for the bank sectors and insurance companies, so they can understand what they're making decisions about, she said. None of these things are in the realm of expertise at the bank. This is just going to be more burdensome. She said the proactive approach would hopefully prevent banks from making reactionary decisions. I think this entire thing is a reactionary decision. I really hope my children are going to be able to eat a healthy diet when they get older. I really do. So National Australia Bank is the first of the big four to make a statement on animal welfare principles. The bank has based its principles on generally accepted contemporary and scientific understandings of animal welfare. The RSPCA has welcomed the move, and one agribusiness consultant said farmers have nothing to worry about. Fantastic, one person's happy. Well guys, I'm more concerned with the trend that we're seeing here, with adopting UN principles, with banks freezing people's accounts, with banks refusing loans depending on where you're employed. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this virtue signaling at a corporate level. This has to stop. And this is the problem, guys. These activists are organised, and they're a mob. You've got to get organised too. Let me know what you think, guys. Like, share and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, please. I have a Patreon where you can make a donation. I also have a Amazon and eBay referral link where I receive a commission every time you make a purchase. And I have a PayPal if you want to use that. Thanks for all your help, guys. Like, share and subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this all, just fine? It's not going to go bad. It won't get worse. Or is it just another example of virtue signaling? Businesses taking away service to people. Take care, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.